Hello everyone. Let's talk about graphical presentation of cost volume profit relationships. Let us consider the simple data. We are given selling price per unit, variable cost per unit, total fixed cost and projected sales. Using the basic data, we can calculate contribution per unit. Contribution per unit is equal to selling price per unit minus variable cost per unit. Next, we can calculate PV ratio. PV ratio is contribution per unit divided by selling price per unit. Break-even point can be calculated using the formula total fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. So we get 30,000 units as the break-even point. Next, we'll calculate break-even point in rupee terms, which is total fixed cost divided by PV ratio. Now, in order to graphically represent the cost volume profit relationships, we will prepare a simple table. In this table, we'll show the different units of output and corresponding costs and revenue numbers. Let us write the number of units. We'll start with 0 and we'll move on to 10,000, 20,000 and so on. For that, we can just drag till we get 10,000, till we move from 10,000 units to 1 lakh units. In the next column, we'll add total fixed cost. Here, total fixed cost is given in cell B4. So we pick this number from there. Now, total fixed cost does not change with change in the number of units. So we are going to fix this cell by adding a dollar sign. Now, we just need to drag it. Next comes total variable cost. Total variable cost is number of units multiplied by variable cost per unit. Again, variable cost per unit is given in cell B3 and this does not change. So we will fix this cell by adding a dollar sign. Now we can just drag this formula to get total variable cost for different levels of units of output. We know that total cost is sum of total fixed cost and total variable cost. So we are going to add the two to get total cost. Total revenue is number of units multiplied by selling price per unit. Again, selling price per unit remains same. So we will fix the cell by adding a dollar sign. Again, we will drag it to get total revenue for the various units of output. Now, profit is the difference between total revenue and total cost. We'll increase this column to see the number. Now we can just drag this to get profit or loss for the different levels of output. Now this simple table can be used to draw a break-even chart. A break-even chart is helpful as it gives a complete picture of operations through one picture. So for this, we would like to draw a total cost line and a total revenue line. And we would also like to show the units of output on the x-axis. So to draw a break-even chart, let us select the units column. Now we press the control key on the keyboard and then we will select total cost and total revenue columns. Now we will go to insert. Under charts, we will select scatter with straight lines. As soon as we click on that, we will get this chart. Now here we can label the chart. We can improve the chart to make it more informative. Let's change the title of the chart. We can give it the title Break-Even Chart. Now see here, total cost is indicated by the blue line and total revenue is indicated by the orange color line. We can also label our axis here. For that, we will go to this, we'll select the chart and we will click on the plus sign here. Next, we will click on axis titles. Now we can see this axis title for x-axis as well as y-axis. We can change the axis title. For x-axis, we can write units, and for y-axis, we can write revenue and cost. Now in this chart, we can see that total cost and total revenue intersect at a particular point. That particular point is the break-even point. So we can label the break-even point here. For that, we can click on the total revenue line and we need to label this data point. So right click on this point, add data label, click add data label. So now our break-even point is labeled here. We can also indicate the profit area and loss area. For that, we can add a text box. So let's go to insert, add text box here. So here we will add a text box and we will write profits. We can move the text box to show that this is the profit area. We can also add a text box to indicate the losses. So for this, we will again go to insert. We will choose text and add a text box here. Again, we can move this. Let's increase the size of the text box to clearly see that these are losses. So this is a simple break-even chart which shows total revenue, total cost. The point of intersection is the break-even point. It shows the profit area as well as loss area. Now that we have understood how to prepare a simple break-even chart, we can easily make it more comprehensive. In other words, we can also show total fixed cost on the graph. We can show total variable cost on the graph. Now, adding total fixed cost and total variable cost is very easy. We just need to select these two columns. Let's see how we can do that. In this table, we have units, total fixed cost, total variable cost, total cost and total revenue. So we are going to select all these columns now. We will go to insert. Again, we will go to charts and we will choose scatter. We will choose scatter with straight lines. Now see. Now we have a chart which shows total fixed cost using blue line. We have total variable cost, total revenue cost as well as total cost. So revenues and costs, different types of costs are shown through different colors. Now this chart is more comprehensive. It shows the various kinds of costs. It shows revenue as well as break-even point. Again, we can label the chart. We can call it break-even chart. Just that this chart is more comprehensive. We can again label the break-even point. So we will again click on the point that we want to label. We will go to add data label. We'll click on data label. So again we have the break-even point here. Now we can label the axis the way we had labeled above. For that, we will go to this plus sign, axis titles. Now here on x-axis, again we can write units, and on y-axis we can write revenue and costs. So if we have understood how to draw the basic break-even chart, the simple break-even chart, then drawing a comprehensive break-even chart is very easy. Whatever we want to show on the chart, we just need to select that column. And please keep an important point in mind that if we are selecting the heading as well at the time of selecting the columns, then automatically the chart will indicate which color indicates what. Okay. Now let's talk about one more point here. Since we know how to draw a chart, then drawing a profit volume chart is also a very simple task. A profit volume chart simply shows profits or losses at the various units of output. So for that, we just need to select the first column, that is units. We will press the control key, and then we will select the profit column. Next we will go to insert, again charts, and we will choose scatter with straight lines. Now see, we have the profit volume chart here. We can easily make this chart a little bit more informative. We can call it profit volume chart. We can change the heading. And in profit volume chart, we know that break-even point is on the x-axis because it shows the level of output where profit or losses are zero. So let's label this data point here. Add data label, add data label. So now it shows that this is the point where profits or losses are zero. Let's move it upwards. We can also add a text box here to indicate that this is the profit or loss line. So if we understand how to draw a graph, then we can draw as many lines as we want in our break-even chart. If we want to keep it simple, we can draw this break-even chart. If we want to make it more comprehensive, then we can draw this break-even chart by adding total fixed cost and total variable cost. If we want to draw a profit volume chart, then we just need to select the profit column and we will get a profit or loss line. So in this video, we have discussed how to graphically represent CVP relationships.